Brain Chiro meets the amino acid lady and hypnotherapist.
I'm Dr. Seth Wilson-Hume with Activate Brain Clinic and Chiropractic, a functional neurologist.
I'm Shelley Jo Wallstrom, certified hypnotherapist, addiction recovery and mental health nutrition coach, specializing in amino acid therapy.
And together we're bringing you tips and information on the brain, on nutrition, and emotion.
And we're doing it in a fun, educational, and entertaining way to help you feel better now. Hey Seth, guess what?
What?
It's October.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I love Halloween. Oh, it's the only, well, it's not the only holiday that is surrounded by candy, but it's a big one, right?
Based mainly on candy.
It's basically
and pumpkins.
on candy and giving candy to children and
What
eating
could
candy.
go wrong? What could go wrong?
I got candy. Da, 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 da. Is that right? and you know, I like to say that I'm a recovering sugar addict, kind of.
Probably all recovering.
Yeah, we're recovering or current sugar addicts. You know, as I was growing up, I thought that there was a candy gene. There was like a sugar gene in your body somewhere because my whole family loves candy. I mean, my mom's a chocolate person. I love candy. I mean, like cotton candy. That's like the candy of the gods, right? Straight into the
delicious.
Yeah.
My stuff, it's the gummies, like gummy worms, gummy bears. I gotta have the gummies.
Gotta have that. Gotta have that sugar. You know that those good and plenty's, those peeps. I mean, I think we need Ennis to go get candy. No, I'm just kidding, right? But what we want to talk about is candy and what does it do to your body? What does it do to your brain, right? And I'm not here to say don't have any candy like ever. I mean, there are some people that feel that way, and you know, I'm not here. That's not our place to judge what you do or not. But let's just talk about what is sugar doing in your body.
Mm-hmm. So with me, when I look at sugar as a functional neurologist, I look at it how it inflames the whole nervous system, but specifically the brain, because it's going to go in and it's going to start to stimulate different receptors in the gut, which is going to probably inflame that vagus nerve, and that vagus nerve is going to travel up to the brain. Now we got an inflamed brain. With that, we can see sleep issues, we can see behavioral issues, not even just with kids' behavioral issues, adults with behavioral issues as well. We can see brain fog, we can see executive function, decision making is going to be lacking, or we have no break. We just have the go, go, go. So you miss the inhibitory stuff of like, don't do that, don't say that, don't do all this other stuff. And we start to miss that part. So that's what I look at when I'm looking at sugar, that the inflammatory cascades, that it starts to dysregulate how that brain's going to start to fire and all these other systems that we're trying to rebuild with my patients, that if they just go home and eat some candy, drink sodas, have a bunch of other sugar that's processed in their foods or whatever, it makes my job much more difficult because we're fighting an uphill battle because of the inflammation going on in the brain.
And that's really crazy. And, you know, as far as the neurotransmitters go, sugar, it lights up, you know, every part of the brain. It's like a pinball machine, right, all over the place. In fact, they figure it's even more addicting than some drugs, which is really kind of crazy. Hardcore drugs.
Rats would rather have sugar.
We would rather have sugar. Is that crazy? And so what I want you to see here is that, you know, do you know that in America, the average amount of sugar that a person eats is 150 pounds per year? That's like 17 teaspoons of sugar per day. And it's all not needed. And, you know, the food manufacturers have figured out that we like sugar. So they add it into everything. Did you know that sugar is in salt? If you look at the back of a table salt, it'll say salt and sugar. Isn't it interesting why we are addicted to salt?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a reason that's what salt does feed, but really, the sugar, right?
Sugar addiction.
Yeah. And one of the other things I learned, which is really crazy as a hypnotherapist, people come to me because they want to quit smoking. And did you know that there's sugar in tobacco? Crazy, right? So when somebody is trying to break a tobacco addiction, they've got two, sugar and tobacco. Super crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, when your brain is not functioning correctly, when your neurotransmitters are depleted, those are your happy, calm, feel good chemicals, a brain takes us hostage.
Mhm.
And it says, give me what I can get the fastest, right? And a lot of times it is sugar because it's quick, right? It's that brain fog, like you said, if you tax your brain and all of a sudden your brain's like, I gotta have something right this second, and you find yourself in the pantry,
Mhm. Mhm.
right, looking for something to raise that, you know? And the crazy thing is, you know, a lot of kids have just gone back to school. I was walking up to the post office and I went right by the high school and it was right at lunch. And these kids were coming back from the gas station. And what did they have in their hands? Huge
32 ounce, 44 ounce.
sugar sodas and chips or cookies in their hand, right? And what's happening is a lot of teenagers they get up and in a hurry and they go off to school and they don't eat breakfast, right? So the first half of their day, their brain is like starving,
Mhm.
right? And when you tax your brain, it depletes glucose and glutamine, and they're not even thinking clearly, right? I mean, a teenager on a brain that is balanced, sugar balanced, with versus a teenager where their brain is like shut off right here, and they're irritable and irrational, right? Because tell them out here, the prefrontal cortex.
So that frontal cortex, as we're looking at it, does decision making. Okay, it also helps with reasoning in those types of things. So when that's not working well, they're going to sit there and get easily distracted. They're going to not make the greatest decisions. So if they're taking tests, they might get confused on their own answers because they're like, I remember this, but I also remember reading that. Which one is it? And they'll usually end up picking up the wrong one as they're going through. So that frontal lobe, it's a doozy if it's not working right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It becomes that irritable, that hangry feeling that says, feed me now, and irrational, which is, I'm going to make this choice. I don't care about that outcome. This is what I want, right? Feed me. So when it's working, you have cognitive thought, right? I'm going to make this choice. This will be your outcome. It's your reasoning. It's your judgment, right? And so the goal is to keep your blood sugar level, right? Keep your blood sugar level so it keeps you out of that hypoglycemic state where you spike, crash, right? And that way you're able to think clearly. So then what happens is those teenagers leave the school at lunchtime, their brain is already like, oh, fried. I can't think. And they head right off and they get more sugar, more pop, and more of anything else because their brain is like, I need something now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what would it look like if you kept your blood sugar level? Right?
Yeah, I mean, when the brain has its proper blood sugar, because again, glucose is how your brain gets energy. So again, we're not saying you can't have sugar. We're also trying to say don't get a lot of processed sugar, like eat some fruits, eat some other things that have naturally occurring sugars. Don't just go and get some Skittles and Starburst or drink a soda. But we do have to have that proper blood sugar so it can go into the brain. It can help feed the muscles. That's what insulin's job is it takes the sugar in the blood and puts it into the muscles. Okay, and so when that all is working properly, you get proper digestion, you get proper blood flow through the brain. You can actually fire off those different centers in the brain that are in charge of different functions, whether that's decision making, whether that's reaction times, whether that's being coordinated and just moving throughout life. Yeah. The brain will do it when it's properly fed and has a normal balanced system that it can rely upon.
So important. So important. That blood sugar is really important. And, the sugar also feeds the other neurotransmitters. It's that afternoon, evening craving, which would be serotonin. It's the stimulation for dopamine. It's to relax, which would be your GABA. And it makes you happy, right? Which would be your endorphins. Now, the cool thing is once your brain is being balanced and it's being fed the brain food, then a little bit of sugar isn't going to hurt anybody, right? Because it can bring some joy and it can bring some happiness. So I would say it's October. Yes, it's Halloween time. The difference between a fed brain and a non-fed brain is a non-fed brain is going to want to eat the whole bowl of sugar,
Can't stop.
all the candy, right? Give it to me right now.
Mhm.
And where the balanced brain is going to be able to enjoy a piece of candy
Here.
here and there.
Mhm.
Right?
Definitely.
Awesome. I'm Shelly Joe with Shelly Joe Hypno Aminos, also known as Amino Acid Lady.
And I'm Dr. Seth with Activated Brain Clinic and Chiropractic, the functional neurologist.
Click and subscribe. Share.
Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on other social media platforms that are out there.
And
Keep an eye out for our upcoming content so we can keep your brain, your nutrition, and your emotions in check and making you feel better.
keep smiling. Bye.